Well, hello, my friend. I'm Timothy Flemming, Senior Pastor of Mount Carmel Baptist Church. Thanks for tuning in. Words from a senior pastor today. I hope that through the years that I've been bringing these words from a senior pastor that's been blessing your life. I have been hearing from a lot of people about that on Facebook, especially on Facebook. I'm getting the word that you're being blessed, and it's encouraging to me to know that whatever I'm saying is just making life a little better for you. And while I'm talking about life, these are not necessarily sermons, these are talks. I used to call them table talks. Well, today I'm standing up, but normally I would be sitting just talking. People need counseling. People need guidance today. And that's why I call this Words from a Senior Pastor. I've been pastoring. I've been pastoring a long time. I've been preaching over 50 years, so I've been pastoring over 48 years. I think they call me a senior pastor. Listen today. Last time we talked about some of the tragedies of the storms and all the things people were going through when all the hurricanes were going through Florida and Texas. But today, I want to talk about how to stand up to life. How to stand up to life. This is very important. Why is that important? A lot of people don't know how to stand up to life. So let's get to some of the very points that I want to bring out today as I talk from my experience to you. Number one, you have to accept what life throws at you to stand up to life. Am I looking at somebody today about to give up? Am I looking at somebody today about to throw in the towel? But I often tell you, no, don't throw in no towel. You take that towel and wipe the sweat from your brow and you keep right on moving. Oh, I hear people say, I'm at the end of the rope. I'm not in it. And hold on. Some people say, well, I'm on a limb. That's all right. The best fruit's on the end of the limb. Enjoy the fruit. What I'm trying to say to you today, basically, you have to accept what life throws. This really needs to go to some young people out there. Some people in prison, some people in hospitals, some people are on the corner, some people are just looking for a word. Well, life is tough. Life is rough. It's not easy. You have to accept what life throws at you. Now, what do you mean by accepting what life throws at you? Well, think about some things that comes in life. Some people don't like you. You got to accept that. You can't please everybody. There are going to be a lot of people finding fault in everything you do. You have to accept that you won't be able to please everybody. And that sometimes put people in depression. I think I heard one great sport a person say one time. He was in the sport, and I don't want to call the name, but somebody asked him, what is your biggest problem? What is your biggest problem when you're playing sports? He said, well, I don't really have no problem playing sports. I'm one of the best. They said, but what's the problem of playing sports? One of the guys said, the biggest problem I have, I can't deal with ridicule. I can't deal with the crowd when they oppose me. Wow. Some people have to be praised all the time before they feel like they can be somebody. Well, you know what? Think about all of the disappointment you had before you got there. You forgot about the knocks and the criticism you endured before you became a star. Now, why are you going to become a star and think that people are going to always accept you? You didn't get there that easy. And you know what? It's harder to stay where you are than to get where you are. Remember what I said. A lot of people can get there, but they can't stay there. I say it like this. A lot of people have, I think Dr. Foster said this, a lot of people have starting power, but no staying power. Jesus finished what he started. So you can start and start off good, but can you hang in there? You got to accept people not liking you. I wouldn't be on Facebook and teaching what I'm teaching if I was worried about all the negative things people say. I am aware that a lot of people are hurting. And when people are hurting and not satisfied with life, they look for somebody to blame. They look for somebody to attack. A lot of people attack you out of pain. Think about it. Misery loves company, friend. Some people talk about people because they are miserable. I guarantee you, when people are satisfied with what they have and happy with what they have, they don't have time to be on here knocking people, lying on people, wanting to hurt people. They are hurt people. They are hurting and they want to hurt. And we often like to blame somebody when things not going our way. Think about it. Adam blamed Eve, and yet he wanted her. When he woke up and saw her, he said, bones of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Oh, he was excited when he got her. But what happened when she fell and God came? He went to say, the woman you gave me. As to say, I didn't ask for her. You just gave her to me. He didn't say that when he first got Eve. He said, bones of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And then talking about my flesh. Hey, he was excited then. But when he screwed up and she screwed up, he did the blame game. You know why Adam did it? He was scared. He was afraid of God's wrath. And that's the way people are when they're hurting or when something's going on. They like to blame you. I always tell you, try not to get tied up with hurt, miserable people if you don't want to be hurt for the rest of your life. Hey, when people are hurt, they hurt. And it's true. Old folks, right. Misery loves company. And that's why a lot of people can't deal with life. They can't deal with people talking about them. Well, I'll say it like this. If they're not talking about you, they're not thinking about you. So they must be thinking about you. You must be somebody important when you can keep people up all night long and you'll sleep. You ought to say amen to that. Hey, if I can keep you up all night and you can't get your rest and I'm sleeping, you won't have the problem. That's life, friend. People are not always somebody gonna disagree. Let me tell you something about life. Somebody gonna always win, somebody gonna lose. Write that down. There's gonna always be a loss, and there's always going to be a gain. That's what life is all about. You lose and you gain. Some people saying right now, I lost my house. Some people saying now, I lost my house in smoke. Flames came up, lost my house in flood, lost my house to hurricane. I said this the other day and I'll say it again. We try to blame God for all these things, but sometimes we get ourselves in harm's way. I know you don't probably agree with that, but God never told us to build a city on the water. That's what New Orleans is. The levees broke. God didn't tell us to build cities in the swamps. That's our choice. You're upset that hurricanes came your way, but you're near water. So when a hurricane comes in the water, friend, it's going to no doubt come to your area because you're near the water. Georgia didn't get hit as hard as Florida. We're not near so much water. That's not God's fault. Think about it. It's just life. We build places where we want to build. If I go build my house right up under a mountain that's a volcano, well, listen, quite naturally, if I go put my house right up under something like that, when that thing explodes, I'm going to be the first one to get the ashes and all of it, the fire, because I built right up under that. See, that's our decision. And then we blame God. Why did God let this happen? Why did God? Now, some things are unexplained, but I'm just trying to drive a point that some things is just life. We don't think about how bad it is until something go bad. But when we enjoying it and we out there in that, we out there in that water enjoying that sun and on that beach and we out there swimming, isn't that nice? Oh, we love that. But when the hurricane comes, God is wrong. We love getting in that water when a shark attack us. Why did God let that happen? You in his area. You're in his territory. So these are things that life just throws at us. We lose and we gain. We gain and lose. Take it a little further. Why get mad and get angry with somebody who becomes Miss America when you got in the pageant and knew wasn't but one of you going to win? all of you couldn't win. So I wouldn't get bitter because this particular lady won. You knew before you got in that pageant there were several girls in there, and one was going to win, and the other was going to lose. Why are you going to get mad and fight at the game if the fact of lost or somebody else gained? Then you know one was going to win and one was going to lose. Why are you going to get mad and go to fighting and cussing the other team out? I heard that people have games at high school games and they get to fighting afterward because the other team won. You knew both couldn't win. One had to lose. That's life. Somebody going to win, somebody's going to lose. You got to accept that. Take a loss, but a loss doesn't mean it's over. Hey, just because you lost a battle doesn't mean the war's over. Listen, friend, you have to accept life for what it throws after you. And there come losses and there come gains. Another thing you need to understand about what life throws at you, you have to accept the fact that life doesn't give you nothing. You have to accept the fact that life does not give you anything. You want anything in life, you got to take it. You got to grab it. Nothing just going to fall out the sky because you want it. God himself couldn't deal with the sin problem. Oh, I'm getting into preaching now, which I didn't want to do. God spoke the world into existence, but to save it, he had to come. He couldn't just speak it. God had to become a man to save a man, and had to die on the cross to keep a man from dying the second death. Some things in life you got to go get. God had to, the Son had to leave his shining coats of glory and leave his throne and come down in this earth to deal with the problem that God couldn't handle on just speaking. Wow, God, that's something to think about. What God can't do is impossible. Some things God couldn't do. God couldn't save man just speaking. He had to become a man and die on the cross. Life doesn't give you nothing. You got to grab it. And he had to grab it, baby. And you got to grab it. I'm talking to young people out there today thinking that things going to fall in your hand because your mom and daddy paying all the bills now. And you think when they're gone that you're going to live on somebody for free. You're mistaken. You're going to have to get out there and work. You're going to have to get out there and do for yourself. That's what life is. It throws it after you. You can live in it or you can die in life. Hey, you got to accept it. And I want to say this while I'm talking about that. Learn to live with the people in life. Listen, we got to live together. I'm always touching on this about racism, and I want to say this again. If God wanted us to be in other places, he would have put us in other places. If God wanted us to be on other planets, he would have put us on some of these other planets. And I've said that before and I'll say it again. This ought to hit right hard to break that curse of racism. God put us all here together. And that means since he didn't put us on but one world, or one earth, shall I say it, then we all got to learn how to live on this earth together. Chinese, Africans, black, whites, name them. He put us all here together. And though we have different colors and different cultures, we got to learn how to work it out and live together. As I said this before, I said it again. If everything was white and you didn't want no color, you would not like the way it looked. Think about it. You're going to see, so all right, we don't want no more white clouds, white grass, white building, white people. And if you came with that, say, I want everything white. And somebody said, look at this picture, you like this? You're going to say, no, 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 no. Give me a little color in the sky and make it blue. No, I thought you want everything white. No, no, no. Just a little blue so I can see the cloud. Then you're going to say, you know what? This grass white. I need to make it green. This doesn't look right. You're going to start putting color with something. Same if everything was black. You're going to say, wait a minute. It's just too black here. I need a little color. Put a little this there and put a little color. All right, now you've gotten in a different color to make the picture beautiful and complete. Think about what I just said. If God made everything just your color, God loves color, and he made different colors. He made different color plants. He made different color people. Listen, don't be so caught up in yourself. You don't want to live in this world by yourself. God put us all here together. We may not like what each other do, but we got to learn how to live with each other. That's life. You can't run from it. We've been to the moon, we've been to Mars, been all the stars up summer, we've been places, found out nothing but rocks. We got to live. You know why? God put us here. And we got to get rid of this racism. It's got to go before we destroy ourselves. You know what? Self-destruction is the worst destruction in the world. When you destroy yourself. So you got to live with the people in it. You got to live with your mother-in-law. You got to live with your father-in-law. You may not like your mother-in-law, but when you married her, you married in that family. You may not like your father-in-law, but when you marry him, you marry in that family. See, you got to take what comes and learn how to stay a distance by keeping them out of you all's business so it doesn't tap your marriage. That's life. You got to learn to live with preachers in churches, different type of preachers. Some people don't like the way certain preachers preach. Hey, that's your preference. If you don't like that church, there's another church to go to. Don't damn each other. God loves all his people. And hey, maybe some people say, I don't like the way they have church there. That's your problem, but that may not be my problem. I may not like the way you have church, but where's the Bible saying which one's wrong? No, God looks at the heart, not the way we worship, but who we worship. Praise God today. Are you worshiping the right God? That's life. I know a lot of people don't like the way I preach sometimes, but a lot of folk, enough folk like it that I'm where I am. So you don't have to worry about trying to please everybody. You got to learn. Look, how many times I've told you, you can be so mad who didn't come to your party, you forget about the people who were there. Look at all the people there, and you're worried about so-and-so didn't come. But the people are saying, I'm here. It's not always what you lost, it's what you got left. Learn how to live with and work with what you got left. Now, lest I keep you too long, I want to just don't forget, learn how to take life what it throws, learn how to accept the people in it, and learn how to accept the fact you can't always have your way. You can't always have your way in life. Life is what it is. I always repeat, and I keep repeating some things. Why I repeat it? Because you keep forgetting. Life, hey, rarely work out according to plans. You can plan one thing and it go another way. That's life. It's just not going to always go your way. And you know, some people say, I don't like living with this person. They're not like me. Well, you don't want nobody exactly like you, because you already know how you are. Sometimes it takes a negative and a positive to get some light. You don't want nobody agreeing with you all the time. You can disagree without being disagreeable. Sometimes it's good for people to disagree so you can see your mistakes and study them. Friend, that is life. Don't go around killing yourself, putting a gun in your head because some things went wrong. Hey, some things were going wrong before some things went right. And you got to accept that. That's life. If the stock market crashed, you think I'm going to kill myself? No. I have no time to do that, because all the things you have in this world is just trying to make life comfortable, but it doesn't make life. Rich people die like poor people. If they could live with riches, their money would make them live. But they die, they get sick. Some things about money, money can't stop and can't buy. So why worry about what you lost? You still got your life. So here's another point. Live it. Live it. Just live. I learned to live. What you mean by live? Live one day at a time. Sometimes I feel if God let us see the things that's coming, it would disturb us so much, we would be more miserable than what we are. Something is better. I don't want to see. I don't want to see. Listen, I'll deal with it when I get there. I don't want to see nothing to keep me up all night long and can't sleep because I'm worried about what all the stuff I see. I often say what's in today's womb is subject to have a miscarriage. Things may not come out that way. Live one day at a time. Take it one step at a time. And let tomorrow deal with tomorrow. You still here. What's the great word behind that? If God took care of you in the past and God is taking care of you in the present, why doubt that he won't take care of you in the future? Yes, you know why God can deal with it? He was in the past, he's in the present, and he's the only person in the future. So he knows where you've been, he knows where you are, and he knows where you're going. So just trust him. Take one step at a time. I'm about to run out of time, but I got to tell you this. You have to accept what life throws at you because life is not a fantasy. There's a whole lot of fantasies going on out here. We start dreaming one thing and thinking this is life. We start saying, you know, I really get disturbed when we watch a lot of these movies. And we watch, it's just like Fantasy Island. When we look on that, the little white man in the white suit, the people in the white suit, and sometimes it's a fantasy. Sometimes some of you all in the fantasy when it comes to marriage. There's a difference in a wedding and marriage. A wedding may cost a lot of money, but a wedding is a life. You got to live with that person when the wedding is over. In other words, some of you all have a honeymoon. Now you got a moon and no honey. Praise God. There'll be come a time you have a honeymoon and you have a moon and no honey. That's life. Things go bad. Things get bitter. Not always sweet. But you got what? Marriage is real. Wedding can be phony. A wedding can be fake. A wedding can be all about friends and fun. But that marriage, when you got to, pay bills, you got to wake up and see the person with no makeup on. Hey, man, they look nice when they're dressed up, but when they take that wig off and take the teeth out, well, there's a little funny humor, and take everything out, hey, that's life. I told a story one time about a man one time fell in love with a woman's voice, and she could sing, and he was just so into her voice. He didn't care anything about her. He just loves her voice. And one day he met her and he said, sweetheart, you know you can sing, so I wish you were my wife. I want to marry you. Okay, he jumps up and married her for her voice. And when he went home that night and he decided to see what he had, she took off her false hair. She took off her false eyelashes. And he noticed she walked with a limp earlier, but then she took off one of her legs. And then she took her teeth out her mouth. And when he saw how he looked, he said, sing something, sing something, sing something, please, sing something. Well, that's what happened. He fell in love with a voice and not the person. And he forgot. When the singing's over, you got to live with her. That's real. Fantasy, look, when you watch these movies on TV, everybody's shooting at everybody, no nobody hit nobody. And it's amazing. One man died in this show, shows up in the next show living. Then he died in that show, he showed up in another movie, same man. Wait a minute, he died 3 times. Where did he come from this time? It's a fantasy. The actor can't die. If the main character dies, the show is over. He can't get hit. Hey, who killed JR? Remember that? Hey, listen, friend, it's a fantasy. You can't be watching some of these stories and going trying to act like that. You got to accept it for what it is. Life is real. You got to live it and not run from it. Learn how to live one day at a time. I'm going to close with this. You can stand up to life when you learn how to stand alone. There come a time you have to stand by yourself. Am I looking at somebody right now? saying, I don't have many friends. Well, welcome to the human family. Go out and make friends. Sometimes you have to make friends. You don't have to sit. Hey, God saw Adam was alone and made Eve. So you don't have to be alone, but when you have to stand alone, stand alone. The devil didn't mess with Adam, by the way, until he got married. Think about that. He'll come after you in the marriage. But you have to stand, if you have to stand by yourself with nobody. Elijah went up on Mount Carmel and faced all Baal prophets by himself. You don't need nobody if you have to stand alone, but the Lord. Take things alone. You know, you can't see a parade when you're in it. Sometimes you got to get out of things and stand alone and see what you're in. So listen, friends, you got to stand by yourself sometime and can't depend on people if they're not there. Love yourself. Encourage yourself. Talk to yourself. See your own mistakes and learn from your own mistakes and go back and stand alone. Take it alone. When people see that you have to have them, that's when they'll let you down. When people see they have to pump you up to get air in you, they'll stick a pin in you and blow it out. You have to let people know, I love your support, and I'm talking to pastors out there. Sometimes God wants us to stand alone. I think one great writer said sometimes you have to get along with God and catch on fire and go to church and let them watch you burn. Sometimes God has to get a man alone so he'll know how to face the public. You need to get along sometime. I don't say stay alone, but stand alone when you have to. Stand up to life. Pray. Look to God. He'll help you. Read good books. Stop worrying about things you can't do nothing about. People you can't change. If they want to stay the way they are, they want to do their thing, it's their thing. Do what you want to do. But you don't have to stoop. You can stand. 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 And stand alone. Most times, when people always hear me teach, a lot of people keep asking me to sing a song. But you know what I'm going to do this time? I'm going to sing a song. It's an old spiritual called Anyhow. I just thought about it. I'm going to stand anyhow. Listen to this. Anyhow. 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 My Lord, at the cross I bow. You know I'm on my way to heaven anyhow. Oh, you may rebuke me, and you may scorn me. You may scandalize my name, but at the cross, I'm gonna bow. Let me tell you now, I'm on my way to heaven anyhow. I have a mother, and I have a father. They have gone to that land where I'm bound, but at the cross, I'm gonna bow. Let me tell you now, I'm on my way to heaven anyhow. 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 I'm going to make it. Anyhow. I've lost everything. Anyhow. I'm at the cross. Down at the cross, I'm going to bow. And I'm going to keep on moving every day. Anyhow. That's a word. Look at somebody and say, I'm going on. Anyhow. God bless you, my friend. Next time I'll start praying for many of you, but I'm giving you words from a senior pastor. Stand up to life. Now listen, friend. If you're being blessed by these talks, and it probably saved somebody's life. I probably just saved several people's lives right now. I'm probably just saved some people who were about to go under, and they needed a word. You got it today. If this is blessing you and you're being touched, you know how expensive it is for television and ministry. A lot of people don't want to know. But then when you don't see us, then you want to know what happened to us. It's so expensive. And the church it runs off of donations, not profit. We have to ask people for gifts. We can't go out and profit. As a separation of church and state, we're a non-profit. If the ministry here at our church and these talks is a blessing to you, I pray that the Holy Spirit will speak to your heart and say, you know what? I want to send a donation to that pastor and to his ministry. I want to give him a word of encouragement. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep paying your staff. Keep coming on TV, because it's so expensive. Many times we have to be threatened to come off because people enjoy us, but they don't send nothing. And if you send something so we can take care of those expenses, we can keep bringing a word to you. No, Facebook doesn't cost nothing, but I'm talking about other ministries and what we do. It costs. And only God's people have to help God's people. Go to our website, Mount Carmel Baptist Church. That's mcbcatl.org. Go to our website, and where it says donation and giving, make a contribution. It could be $5. It could be $10. Somebody sent me a check for a nice lump sum once and said, keep doing what you're doing. Hey, that was able to keep me on in a lot of places. I pray that God touch your heart, that you will give a good, nice contribution or a small contribution to our ministry, and it's going all for the ministry, spreading the gospel in these last days. Keep telling everybody to look every Sunday night at 8 o'clock p.m. on Facebook for my broadcast. So if people say, I don't see Reverend Flemming anymore, it's because it got too expensive, number one. I don't know where he is. Well, tell them they can go to Facebook now and look for free and see the same broadcast. But remember how expensive it is. Television costs a lot of money. I hope you understand that. And when you give, you help us to further the gospel in these last days. May God continue to bless you, and may he keep you. I will see you next time.